Welcome to 2023, everybody.
It's the future.
It's the future. We have entered a whole another year. We have welcome to Spare Crumbs, the after the show podcast.
Yeah, so what happened on December 28th was crazy, am I right?
I know,
dude.
that was insane.
It was a massacre.
I mean, who knew they could play so hard?
Yeah.
It was, when the president arrived, that was when everything really turned upside down.
I found it entertaining after that point, just because what happened with him and the other people that were there.
Yeah.
And I mean, Taylor Swift dying was really unexpected.
Who would have thought it was one of her exes, too?
Yeah.
Man.
For those of you who can't tell, we're recording this in the present.
Yeah, 2024.
We're gonna just
We're just talking about the history.
We're gonna backdate it, send it to ourselves in our time machines.
Yeah, back in 2009.
In Brainbox Canon, we already have illusions. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not time travel?
So
This is going to be like the first video that goes up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Besides the creators themselves. What is this?
And then 14 years later, they'll actually make videos.
It's called causality.
Anyways, this is all just being done to wish you guys a happy new year.
Yes.
And to let you know, we've got plenty of more stuff we're going to do. Me and Waffles and maybe Darcy, if he's around too, will be doing some Solasta videos. And like it. Thank you for supporting us.
I almost feel like we're false advertising if we don't, at some point soon, do a movie review.
It is true.
Because you pitched that.
I
It was in your original, we review movies, video games, and more.
yes. And
We've done the and more, but we didn't do any movies.
Yeah, I
we
was
did on
going to do a
29.
Black Adam. Black Adam. This is the behind the scenes one. I went to go see Black Adam with a friend of mine. I was
Let's
gonna
just
try
do it
to
right
invite
now.
him on to
Let's just do it right
Redbox.
Yeah, let's just invite Adam on.
We'll invite Black Adam on himself.
Yeah.
That'll be my friend's
I mean-
name if he ever decides to show up. So yeah, Black Adam was good. Have you seen Black Adam,
Yes,
Darcy?
I did, and I liked it a lot. It was weird when we went, spoilers incoming, slight. It's not too spoilery, but when I went to go see it with Mrs. Driver, we went in and she's like, "Oh, are those the bad guys?" And I said, "Well, no, that's not the bad guys. They're doing something that's kind of misdirected, and yes, Part A is liberating Part B, but Part C is also trying to make sure that Part A doesn't destroy everything."
Well, I did not understand anything you just said, so I don't think you spoiled anything.
Okay, no, spoilers.
Yeah,
Spoilers start now.
Okay.
So, have you seen it?
I saw this wrestling movie the other day.
With the Rock in it.
Am I good to spoil?
Yeah, I mean, I went to go see Black Adam, but all I got was a compilation of The Rock taking on John Cena, The Undertaker.
No, when the Justice League part of the Justice League, which
Or the
is
Justice
Hawkeye, shows
Society.
up, Justice Society, right? When the Justice Society shows up, my wife looked at me and she's like, "Are those the bad guys?" I'm like, "No, that's Hawkman." And by the way, Aldous Hodge, love him in everything I've ever seen him in.
Pierce Brosnan.
Leverage, great. Pierce Brosnan nailed that part. I really loved it. But when they showed up, it was kind of weird that she was reading it as, "Oh, they're the bad guys," because Black Adam's set up as he's going to liberate the people, and then the Justice Society comes in to shut down what's supposedly going to liberate the people. So that whole setup, for people who aren't familiar with any of it, I know there were a couple of people like, "Are those the bad guys or those the good guys?"
Well, I think a lot of people, unless you didn't know anything about DC Comics, knows that Hawkman's a hero. Dr.
Right.
Fate is most of the time a hero.
Yeah,
Depending on what Fate
in the
decides. But
in the early odds, when the Justice League series came out, a lot of people have had exposure to that, and I assume my wife has also. And so it was a bit confusing because that's Hawkman. It's also not Hawkman in the way that you've seen him. So I know there's with people who have gone through phases of being a good guy, being a bad guy. I'm assuming that was her first thought of, "Oh, a bad guy in this one, not a good guy in this one.
And I think a lot of it comes down to perspective, because the film is trying to portray Black Adam as almost the unwilling hero
Right.
for a lot of it, like how he's doing good things, but he's not really like excited about it.
He's chaotic good.
Yeah, if we're
Best.
using D&D terms.
Right.
But
Because he does some really dark things.
oh yeah. And I think honestly this film, I liked it. I mean, yeah, was it kind of similar to the first Avengers movie? Yes, there was like a whole bunch of characters that were underdeveloped and not well introduced and other stuff. But I mean, as we've looked at the MCU, sometimes developing characters can either really, really help, like looking at Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., or really work against some characters like Thor, who had a bunch of movies that a lot of people didn't like. And then you get Thor Ragnarok. So
Yeah.
sometimes developing a character doesn't always
That's
work.
one of the things I really liked about Black Adam. If you're talking about like Thor Ragnarok stylings, it had that sort of mischievous and funny feel, even though they were doing some really gruesome stuff with the action.
Yeah. And honestly, just as like a shout out there, if any of you guys are parents, I probably wouldn't take my kid to see this film.
No.
It was definitely like even though it was PG-13, I was
Wait,
safely
PG-13?
Yeah, I was
There was
safely
some really like tough gore, blood, and inferred dismemberments going on. So.
Yeah. And the big, I mean, depending on how you feel about demonic stuff, he literally fights a big demon in the final battle. So yeah, there's that. So, I mean, despite some like the demonic stuff, I feel like this is like a good move for DC. I don't know at this point how it's done in the box office. I think it's done all right.
Yeah.
I don't think it like broke any
It had a
records or
pretty
anything.
Big
But
opening weekend.
but I think it's a good sign, and I know the fact that like Henry Cavill's pretty much gonna like his one job now is just being Superman is like nothing but basically good news for DC, since some of their other Justice League movies are having problems right now with like Amber Heard and Aquaman and Ezra Miller like potentially being like arrested for any number of different cases, whether that's disorderly contact or like kidnapping. So like they need a win right now, and I think like the Shazam movies are doing pretty well, and Black Adam did all right, and everybody likes.
Well, those are different movies.
Yeah, they're basically the same, but just one's more meant for kids, and the other one is definitely meant for adults.
Yeah,
and I think moving forward, if they maybe move some of those problematic actors to the side. I don't know if they'd recast or more just focus on lesser known characters like Hawkman and other stuff. DC might have a chance at making some decent movies. But at this point, you know, we're getting a lot of superhero films, and I'm getting some fatigue myself. So
yeah.
I probably want to
wanna
go see other films.
I want to see Hawkman because, like I said before, Aldous Hodge, amazing actor. And I really love his stuff. So if I get a Hawkman movie with all this, I will be thrilled. And from what I've seen of his life, from behind the scenes stuff, very nice guy. Just like sees like Dwayne Johnson's stuff, and by all appearances, and from every reputable source that I've heard, very nice guy. Like if you walk up to him, he would actually acknowledge you, say hey, and try to spend time with you if he can, because he's just a very people-y person.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would give Black Adam a thumbs up out of 2 thumbs up I could give. So, yeah, it was good.
10 scale it for me.
10 scale it, probably a 7. 7 or 8.
I agree with that. I would give it an 8. It was, some of the effects stuff was really good. And from a writing perspective, some of it was, it's okay. But a lot of the stuff that they did graphically with their fight scenes was just very entertaining to watch. And you can tell that people who choreographed it have fighting experience in how they set up not just the shots, but where punches landed and where they showed it from.
Yeah.
Because that's something that drives me insane. Oh, and another thing, it was actually lit. You could see the fight scenes because it was like in the desert most of the time.
And it wasn't that DCEU dark and grungy
Right, exactly.
Christopher Nolan filter that they applied to Batman v Superman.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm excited for what they teased up in the end credit scene of Black Adam and Henry Cavill and Dwayne Johnson fighting it out as Superman.
Yeah.
And Black Adam. I think that'll be something that's exciting to see and might actually bring me out to the theater when I probably wouldn't for, like, say, an upcoming Marvel movie in the next couple of years. But I don't know. I'm just getting tired.
This summer, in a movie theater near you, Batman v Superman v Shazam
The Black Adam, the Aquaman.
AKA Batman versus 3 clones of the same character.
It's really funny when you think about like power sets and how things level and scaling things. And I feel like in our perception of superheroes, super strength is like the most overdone power because it's, yes, I grant that it's cool and it makes for great cinema and such, but please give me something else. Give me a super who's got more additional cool gimmicky stuff besides you can fly and you can throw stuff. Great.
You can punch things. Yeah, and I think there's different levels of super strength. The more super strength I would be interested in would be, again, more like the Captain America style, where it's not like he's holding up skyscrapers, but he's could break down a door pretty easily.
And that's one of the things I loved about in the Black Adam movie is there was a lot of magic stuff going on and like illusion stuff going on, and that really elevated the movie as a whole for me because you got to see some really cool stuff going on with all the effects and how they were presenting their magic system. It's a somewhat soft magic system, not a spell slots, all that fun stuff. But the way they presented that visually and through the story brought it up from what probably would have been like a 6 in my book to an 8.
Yeah, it was a decent movie. Recommend it. Not for kids.
Definitely don't take your young kids to see it.
Yeah.
Teenagers, you'll probably be fine.
I'm still waiting to see them produce my movie idea, where is given super speed, and the next convulsion they have is going to shake their organs out of their body, so they have limited time to do good deeds.
All right. We'll end that there. Happy 2023.
6.